Okay, guys, now on the last part of our TP cast strategy, what you are going to be doing is identifying the theme of the poem. And if you remember, kind of like from the past, what the theme is like the me message or the lesson you can get from reading this poem or story. Remember that the theme has to be something that's kind of like general. So, don't judge a book by its cover, or, things um, those that are rich aren't always good people, or things like that, where you can like learn a lesson from it, and it has to be general. You need to remember that it's not necessarily like paraphrasing where you're using words from the poem, but it's something like, what can I glean as the lesson or the thing that you need to know from this poem? And a good way to go about that is kind of figuring out the subject and abstract ideas in the poem. So I'm going to do that part with you. So, obviously, if we look at the first subject, it's going to be an identity. So, an identity is something that they're talking about in this, story. The next thing that I'm kind of thinking is, as it talks about like being a weed, and it wants to be, high in the sky and up on the mountain and not, be plucked by greedy human hands and things like that. That tells me that they're kind of into protecting themselves or protection. And then the last part, as I'm reading it, they're, really talking about kind of being different, because if they're talking about they would rather be an ugly weed instead of being a flower. They're kind of daring to be different. So I'm going to say they're daring to be different. So when you are writing your theme, remember, like I said, it needs to be a general rule, lesson, or idea. So you're not going to say the theme of the poem is identity. That tells me not one thing about this poem. If I said to you, hey, the lesson I want you to learn today is identity, it wouldn't teach you anything, right? And it wouldn't, if I said protection, that doesn't tell you anything. But what you can do is you can use those ideas to say, okay, what lesson can I learn from these three things? And so that is going to be a phrase that you're going to create. If you have questions about that, please join me at Teacher Table, and I'm welcome to help you out. So, good luck and good job.